And hello, everyone. Welcome back to another episode of the DAMIANO podcast. Today's we'll talk about the sinking of the Titanic today. What led up to the sinking. Um, First, um, what 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 got me was on that one was when I saw that it was that what even I mean because of what it was pitch black out. So the binoculars were not overlooked. Even though they said that the binoculars was locked away, and the I guess one of the crewmen took the key with him when he left, so the binoculars was locked away. But even with the binoculars, they were not being able to see because it was pitch black, and you couldn't see the iceberg because it was pitch black out, and there was no way. Because by the time they saw it, it was too late to even do anything to it. They couldn't. They tried to turn the ship to go around it. But if they would hit, had they hit it head on, they might have stayed up. But remember, if they would have hit head on, because remember, the crew, the lookouts was up in the crow's nest. And so if they would have hit it head on like that, it probably would have still sunk. Probably, it probably would have, because this part would have been damaged. But where it sunk, but where on the reason why it broke up between the number, between the number 3, number 4 funnel, and we talked about, and we're going to talk about it on today's show, on today's podcast, is because the reason why it broke in two between the number 3, number 4 funnel was because the stern had not flooded at the surface. Plus they had a fire in one of the coal burners, in one of the iron boilers. They had a fire, so that weakened the section here to the point where when it went down. Plus, it wasn't flooded at the surface. See the bow flooded at the surface, so when it went down, the bow was able to retain a aerodynamic shape. So that's why you see it sitting on the bottom, upright and not damaged, because it flooded at the surface. It had water already in there. So basically, it already had the water in there. So it was already acclimated to the deep. So that's why when it went down, it didn't implode or it didn't disintegrate. But the stern back here had not flooded the surface. So that's why when it went down, it imploded, imploded on its descent, and it did a spiral. It went into a spiral, and then it's beyond recognizable on the bottom. Plus, they're sitting opposite each other. See, the bow is facing this way, and the stern is facing that way. It's facing the opposite side. That's because when it went down in 2 major sections, because it went up like this, and the weight, it couldn't withstand the weight. Because remember, it had, from what I heard, it had bad expansion joint, which caused the weak to be weak right here, in between the number 3, number 4 funnel. So I remember the funnels are all gone. No one ever seen one in the debris field, so the funnels are all gone. They're not there. So that's why you don't see. You see from like movies where Titanic, they raise the Titanic. It can never. It can never happen because of the depth it's at. And remember, it's at 2.5 miles down. It's 2.5 miles down, and the technology that you would need to raise her would not be feasible, because we're talking billions, trillions of dollars, and a lot of research they have to do on it to see how they can bring the ship up without damaging her the rest of the way. Because remember, she's very fragile. She's been down there since 1912, so she's been down there for for centuries. And being at 2.5 miles down, I mean, but they did raise a section of her. They raised one of the sections of her, but that was, I mean, it did come up and fall back down. So they had to really, I mean, it did come up and then fell back down, and they had to go down and get it again. But it, it's really not feasible to raise her. I mean, it's really not feasible to raise her because I mean, the depth that she's at, she's it's not really feasible because you can end. I mean, you can end up. I mean, soon. I'm not sure how she's gonna do when she hits the. I mean, surface. She could disintegrate when she hits the surface. Plus, she's in two sections, so she's not like this down there like they see in like in the movie shows. Like raised Titanic shows when she comes up, and she comes up like that and sits like that with only the three funnels up. The one right here is gone. But that's just the movie. That's just the movie. That will never actually happen in real life because the funnels are all gone. These funnels here are all gone in the debris field. There's no funnels been seen, and I mean, chances of her, I mean, surviving the lift, I mean, raise. I, I mean, again, I don't know. She might survive, and she may not. I mean, because remember, she's 2.5 miles down, and when she comes up and hits that surface, the air because the air may she might disintegrate. I mean, she may disintegrate on the way up. Who knows? She may break in more pieces on the way up. Because if you notice how when she went down, the crow's nest, the pole for the crow's nest came down inward and hit this right here. You can tell that the whole bridge here it is completely gone in the debris field. There's no bridge on the top here. It's completely open. Her wheelhouse, the wheelhouse is completely open. I mean, at least this whole section here is completely gone. I mean, this is gone. So you see, just open, like she had a convertible. Like basically, she had a convertible, and that's because the salt water and the treated rooms got in there. Plus, it probably imploded on the way down as she gone down. The pressure, because that's what happened on the stern. I mean, the stern is beyond recognizable down there. The stern is beyond recognizable as it imploded. Imploded during this descent and went into a spiral and then hit the bottom, and, and blowing out the sides and top. It blew out the sides and top. All this came up as soon as it went down. All the whole stern separated. You can see it separating. You can see it actually separated on its during its descent on the way down. Actually, you can actually see where it peeled spots. Started peeling off of it. That's because it couldn't retain its aerodynamic shape. That's because it did not flood at the surface. See, had it flooded at the surface, had they kept I think if they would have kept the bulkhead doors open, the watertight bulkhead doors open, and allow the water to come all the way in to flood the whole Titanic here from front to back, it might have withstood. It might have withstood it sink. It might have not imploded during the descent, and the stern might have. Kept its shape. But back then, nobody thought that. Back then, we all thought to close it. Close the watertight doors and try to minimize the flooding. But back then, nobody thought that. Back then, nobody thought to do that. I mean, we all we always understanding to more or less close the doors and keep the water from coming in. But in actuality, I think if they would have done that, I mean, again, if they would have done that, if they would have, if they would have kept the bulkhead doors open, she might have been able to sink. She might have gone down like that, and she might have just went straight down. She might have just been able to go straight down like that and sink in one piece. But instead, she went up in the air like that, and then broke in two, and the funnels actually came off. All these wires holding them on actually snapped one by one, and they snapped. These two snapped last. These two here, the number 3, number 4 funnels actually snapped last as the ship broke in two. As it broke in two, the funnels, as soon as it landed, as soon as the stern landed, these two broke off. The stern, the two funnels, was the last ones to fall off. These two here was the last ones to fall off. And the two front ones here fell off last. These two, fell off first as it went underwater. As soon as the water got to right here, that's when the wires snapped off, and the funnels fell, and the funnels fell off. These two fell off first. These two fell off last because those two are on the back, and the funnel, and you can tell that this was that these two fell off last because of what? Because it went like that, and I think the grand staircase would have been right here. Would have been the grand staircase right here, and that shattered when the water came up. That shattered to there. But remember, I mean, so right there when I did that. It's like, yeah, so remember it did that. But remember, I mean, she got a lot of warnings. I mean, she got a lot of ice warnings. But none of them was given to the ship and captain, because the wireless was there for the convenience of the passengers. It wasn't there to give warnings and ice warnings. They were there as part of the Marconi, a wireless company back then, who serviced the passengers. They wasn't there to service the other passengers. So a lot of the warnings, the ice warnings, never got to the captain. So a lot of the warnings, it never got to the captain. They never really. Somebody knew. Somebody knew. Nice. So yeah, I mean, it never. They basically wasn't warned. It wasn't warned about that. They wasn't warned about. Anything. It wasn't warned about. About the. Iceberg. There wasn't one. There wasn't. She received a lot of warnings, but none of them got to the. Captain. So basically, they was just driving blind. They just didn't see. They just didn't see the iceberg in time. And had they hit the iceberg head on, it might have killed a lot of crew, but she probably wouldn't have sank. She probably would have stayed up if if she would have, remember though, the ice was much further south than they've been before. She was, I mean, they was delayed. They was, I mean, it was, and they had to get, I mean, the coal, they couldn't find coal, I mean, anywhere in Great Britain. They couldn't find coal anywhere. So that more or less, I think, had if they would have just held her, if they would have just, I think if they would have just held her back, then the iceberg would never have be, because the ice is much further south than it had been before. It was much further south, and the iceberg was much further south than it ever been before. And she, I mean, but when she was building, I mean, by her design, the course she would take and how she's being navigated. So instead of slowing down, she was speeding up. She sped up and she went, I mean, right through the ice field, even though she was warned that there was ice. And that's why the Californians sat in there. She sat in the ice and just waited and gave the Titanic warning. But the Titanic's operator was like, I mean, shut up and get off this, frequency. Even though the California was trying to warn them of the iceberg, because they saw the iceberg first. They saw the iceberg first, and the Californian was trying to warn them that, hey, there's an iceberg right here in front of you, and she didn't see that, and she tried to go around it, and when she did that, she went like that and scraped alongside of the bug. She hit the bug on the port on the right side. She hit the bug on this side. I mean, causing a few crumbled hull plates. But had she only had four compartments, she stayed for first four compartments breach, but she had five. And by having five, that was too heavy, and she ended up going like that, and ended up sinking because it was too heavy. But I think had they, I'm thinking had they kept the watertight watertight doors open. She had like 15 bulkheads, each independently watertight. But I think in this case, if they would have opened them all up and let the water flow evenly, she might have been able to sink without either breaking. She probably would have still broke apart, but the stern would have already been flooded and been able to retain its aerodynamic shape, or been able to retain that. But since they didn't keep it open and they closed them, that allowed the air to be trapped inside, because the air got trapped inside the stern between the number 3 and number 4 funnel. The air got trapped and couldn't get out. So by the air not being able to get out, the only thing it could do was to break apart as it went down, because the air was trapped inside of the ship. The air connect. The air connect. The air pocket. The air couldn't escape to allow it to be able to sink. But because it was trapped inside, that's why when it went up like that, came out of the wall like that. But the hull is not designed. The stern's not designed to come out of the water like this. So when it went up like that, you can actually see it started cracking out some, and then back down like that, and then and then it stayed. It actually stayed like, as soon as it sunk, it actually stayed like that, and then went on about 2:20 a.m. It actually went on about 2:20 a.m. 2 hours and 40 minutes after the collision, because stern, the bow was already down. The bow was already down. The stern, on the other hand, took sunk last. And at one point, a mother was holding a child, child, and let him, and thought the ship was going to bite itself, so she let him look, and then he just saw the ship, the stone sink. I mean, they claim the ship is unsinkable, but it's not. And I mean, can't take it for granted. No ship is unsinkable. No ship is unsinkable. I mean, they, they didn't think. They didn't think. If you pay $50,000, which is in today's dollars, and don't expect the ship to sink. To sink, being that was supposedly unsinkable. But there was a lot of rumors going around that was the Olympic with Titanic's name, because her sister ship did the exact same thing. She hit a the Navy boat, and it yet it stayed up. The Olympic stayed up. So they're thinking that was they switched names, trying to collect the insurance money. But nobody really knows. We don't really know if the one behind me is really the Olympic with Titanic's name on it. We don't really know that. We really don't know that. We really don't know if that's what the case is. But got to. Something new. Got to. Nobody knows what that really is. Again, a lot of third class passengers was down on. Down on the deck below. They was. Some of them were sleeping, some of them weren't, and it was. Just, it was just not. I don't know. It was just. They didn't use any precautions, and they didn't use no precautions at all. They had. The lookout should have been paying attention. Better. They should not have been. They really should have been paying attention more on that, because to me, I would have probably hit it head on. That is my theory. I probably would have not have swerved. I probably would have hit it head on. But back then, they wasn't thinking back then. And they was not thinking, and they just decided to avoid a wall in front of them. They decided to avoid a wall in front of them, and they just clipped. They just clipped the wall. Clipped the ice because they couldn't see it at that time of night. 11:40 p.m. They couldn't see it at that time of night. And remember, they had no lights on. They didn't have no lights on as they do now. They got no radar or whatever to detect icebergs. But back then, they had no radar back then. Now they do. Now they do. Now they know. Because now Titanic 2 is going to be built good. Titanic 2 is going to be built with the amount of technology as she had back then. Well, technology as she. But see, back then they had the technologies they have now. Back then they had they just had themselves. Basically, they just had the lookouts. That's in the crow's nest. They just had the lookouts. They didn't have the technology back then as they had now. they didn't have any of the technology as they had back then, as they hadn't, is that is that dang, I look good on you. Dang, I look good on you. But yeah, again, she booked. The funnel's all gone. I mean, the funnel's all gone. Nice. But again, they wasn't thinking. They claimed the ship was unsinkable, but they only had enough lifeboats for half the people aboard. So they basically do not have all the lifeboats in hand. But yeah, people keep asking, will they raise her? No. It's not really feasible to raise her because the depth that she's at is not feasible. Because the depth that she's at is too deep to be able to attempt to raise her. Plus, even if you did raise her, she's basically collapsing on herself because the railings that was in the front, half of them are all already disintegrated. Well, one whole section's already disintegrated. Plus, they're really trying to figure out a way to keep the subs away from her because the sub actually knocked the crow's nest down into one of the down into the where the funnel stood. It actually knocked it down inside the ship because I guess one of the subs clipped the crow's nest that was leaning against the bridge right here. Well, the wheelhouse, it was right there. I guess one of the subs came along and clipped it. So that's why they're trying to really make it to where they keep trying to keep people away from her. Some people want her raised to try to save her, but I don't think it's possible because of the depth she's at. That might do more harm than good. That might do really more harm than good because of where she's at. Some ships you can raise because some of them are like at, like 30 or 40 feet, or even at 100 feet. But Titanic here is 2.5 miles down. She is 2.5 miles down. Plus, she's in two sections. So even if you raise the bow, you still have to go back down and bring up the stern, which is beyond recognition. The stern is so badly mangled. It's not recognizable. It's not recognizable in the sense like the bow, like the bow is recognizable. It still has its aerodynamic shape. It's punching only 3 or 4 feet in the bottom, but it's still got its aerodynamic shape. But the stern doesn't. The stern, I don't think the stern will survive. Even if they raise the stern, what are you gonna do with it? What are you gonna do with it? There's no way to. What would you do with it? If they raised it, what would you do with it if they raise it? What would they do with it? Because it's been underwater since 1912, so it's been down there for quite a while. I really don't think it's feasible to be able to fix it up because of how it's in pretty bad shape. I know you've seen AI videos when they raised her. know you've seen AI videos on that, on how they, on how they raised her and stuff. But I really don't think that but that's just AI. I mean, again, that's just AI. That's not actually. I mean, people see that and always assume that they see that and they always assume that, oh well, if they raised her on the AI, then can we can raise it for real? And the question is, it's I mean, we don't have technology. I mean, to go that deep. I mean, we have the subs and the robot subs and that, but we really don't. I mean, we can raise some parts of her up, but we cannot we don't have the capabilities of raising her up because you need a lot more. I mean, I know people talking about like like airbags and balloons and stuff, but that's that's not feasible being that low because she's 2.5 miles down, and it's not really that feasible to be able to raise her up because even if you try to get, even if you are successful getting her to move off the bottom, even if you're successful getting her to move off the bottom, I don't know if it would be feasible to do that. I mean, I don't know if it's feasible to even do that. I mean, I don't know if it's even feasible to even do that because the money you would spend on that would be. I really don't know if that it'd be even feasible to even attempt to raise her. I don't know if that would be feasible. Let me know in the comments if you think it'd be feasible for them to raise her because I don't think so. Because being that deep down, I really don't know. Because because once she hits the surface, she could implode on the way up, or once she hits surface, she could fall apart because she is so fragile. She's been down since 1912. So even if even if you do raise her, I really don't think that's feasible. I think since they label her as a gravesite, I think she should not be touched. I think they should just leave her alone and do like they're doing. Build Titanic 2. Just build the replica ship like they're doing. It's going to be set in sail in 2027, the new Titanic. But they should just leave the old one down there because it's a gravesite and she's so fragile and she may break apart when she comes up. So I really don't think that is because even if they do raise her, what are you gonna do with her? Where are you gonna put her? And how would you restore a ship like that? Because her stern she's in two pieces. So how would you restore this back to its original? There's no way because she's in two pieces. You would have to build. I you would have to. Really do. I really don't think it's feasible. I really don't think it's feasible to do that. I know there's talks about raising her and that we should raise her, or I think she should just stay down there. Just keep her down there and not. Well, at least she ain't on her side, so that's good. And at least she ain't on her side, so that's good. At least she's not like the Botanic on her side. in that, so that's good there. But I mean, again, they should just keep her down there and not basically not raise her. I mean, but see, what got me was, and I mean, instead of them, they should have slowed down. But they know, but the thing is, they know they was going through ice fields, so they should. I mean, they know they was going through the ice field, so they should have slowed down and post extra lookouts. They should have posted extra lookouts. They should have slowed down. They should not have been speeding up like they was doing. They sped up to try to get in there by Tuesday night, and they try to get in there, and that's what led to her demise. Was because they sped up like that. Had not sped up, and they took a different course instead of taking the course that she took. I mean, I thought she could power way through ice field, and no, and they should have realized that she can't go through the ice field like that. I mean, and nobody knew that she had a fire in one of the boilers. So that we can haul there, and that's what really we can, because she was put together by rivets. I mean, she had the steel hull, but she was put together by rivets. And once one of those rivets pop, I mean, she's done for. I mean, she was just put together by rivets, so she wasn't like nowadays, fiberglass or whatever. Like nowadays, she was put together by rivets and stuff like that. But back then, she's only she was put together by rivets instead of by what they are nowadays. But that's why ships nowadays, the maritime laws were changed to protect those by traveling by ship. But even nowadays, they went in that same predicament as they did back then. I mean, even nowadays, no one's safe on the ship. I mean, even nowadays, I mean, look at the Costa Concordia. I mean, that one sunk. I mean, look at the Costa Concordia. I mean, that one went down. I mean, I mean, it didn't go down. I mean, just flipped on its side. But it basically ran aground and flipped on its side. But it. I mean, it. I mean, nowadays ships ain't. I mean, even nowadays, ship's not safe. I mean, it has trouble nowadays too. So even though the maritime laws have changed, but I mean, this time I would say they have enough lifeboats for everybody. So that's good. I mean, they have enough lifeboats for everybody nowadays. Oh, sorry about that. Sorry about that, goof. Sorry about that, guys. I mean, over my phone here. But I mean, other than that, I mean, but she wasn't really. But at least Titanic 2 will be built, and I mean, it's building now, and it might have all the technologies as, unlike her predecessor, Titanic 2 has all the, it has the radar, has all the technology that her predecessor did not have. and she has the diesel engines this time. She doesn't have coal. She ain't steam powered. The Titanic 2 actually has diesel engines, so it's really better than the other one than a predecessor had. I mean, she's gonna be the same. Well, she's gonna be trying to make her like the same design as this. She's gonna be the same design really as this. I mean, the same design, but yeah, she's gonna have the same two poles. She's gonna have like two same poles and the wires going up like, but she's gonna be modernized. She's gonna have the diesel engines, radar. She's gonna have like like the computer with all the radar, and she's gonna be more sophisticated as unlike her predecessor here who wasn't. She's gonna be the same height as her predecessor, but with all the modern amenities, with all the yeah, stateroom's still gonna be the same in the look, same look. So you go on board, you're gonna be stepping back in the 1912 when you go on board, but it's gonna have today's technology. It's gonna have the radar. It's gonna have all of the modern. It's gonna have all the technology as a predecessor didn't have. It's gonna have lights. It's gonna have lights on it so they can see at night. It's basically gonna have all the updates. It's gonna have all the modern amenities. It's gonna have everything that her predecessor would have had, but she was built back in 1912, so they didn't have all that technology yet. That wasn't even thought of yet, as she has nowadays. But that's about all time we have for today's episode. Tune in tomorrow for the next episode. Yep. So make sure you hit that subscribe button to post notifications, and I'll see you in the next episode.